Welcome to this short video on Power Automate Generative Action, which is in public preview. My name is Serge Luca. I'm a business application MVP based in Brussels and working for ShareQL.com. So let's go to make.powerautomate.com and let's create a new flow. An instant flow just for demonstrating this feature. I usually put a bracket in the flow name just to describe what the flow does and if it's related to AI. So let's call it Generative Action Demo 1. And right here, right click and add Generative Action Preview. So the idea is you will specify what you want the flow to execute in this generative action. So here, let's give some instruction to the flow. And I want to keep it simple because if it's too complex, the preview failed. So for instance, I want to say this, review the mail content provided as an input parameter. So there will be an email content that will be provided to this action. And now let's extend this description. And what I want is if the email contains the word urgent or exclamation mark, then send an email to this guy. But I can also bring some knowledge into this generative action. As you will see, I can integrate that with a document. So regardless, check the frequent asked question document for an answer, and if found, email the answer to the customer email provided as an input parameter. Right? So the customer request something, and we will send an email to the customer plus additional information. So if you click on generate, the system will generate some kind of logic which will be executed in an AI runtime. So you don't have to create your own flow. You won't see what will be generated exactly, but the system will be smart enough to do what you want. So here, based on this, the system suggests some input and output parameter that you can keep or remove. So customer email is fine. You can rename that if you want. Email content is fine. I will check that. And frequent hash document ID, I don't need that. Right? I don't need any input parameter. As you can see, 2 connectors have been added into this generative action. And now you can put some knowledge here by adding a file which should be stored in your OneDrive for Business. So in the OneDrive for Business of the account that run the flow. So I did create the Word document look like this. Okay. So the first question will be actually addressed in this demo. So the system should be smart enough to find the answer to the question. This frequent asked question. You can test this by clicking preview, and then you will be requested to fill in the input parameter. So for instance, let's say I have an email content that has the following text, or can I enroll in the next Power Automate training? And normally we have indication about this in the frequent asked question. Okay, this is urgent. And the customer email will be, for instance, brianc@shareql.com. So based on this, the generative action should be able to be smart enough to follow the logic that we defined in natural language. So this is testing, right? So we are testing the generative action. So if you click run, the tests will start. It might take some time. It takes the input parameter and it's smart enough to know that, hey, yes, I need to send an email notification to Serge Luca because it's urgent, and I will just try to find the answer in the frequent asked question. So you can say, okay, this next action is send an email, so run the next action. So that means it will be included in the logic when you will use that in, not in test, but in production. Okay, and based on the logic, he should send an email to the customer and with the information provided in the FAQ. So that's the next step, right? So it takes some time, of course, but this is the future. So I think that in the future, people won't create their flow directly, or part of their flow will be described in natural language. Okay, so that's the email that will be sent to the customer, and this will include information from the frequent asked question. It takes some time. After that, I will show you the frequent asked question content, or I can do that right now. So let me. So the customer email get this, you see, and this information come from the frequent asked question, and if I'm happy with that, I can add the generative action logic, confirm that basically. Right? Now I can pass some parameter in my flow. So it's not in test anymore, it's in the flow. Save. And it should run. Right? Now, all the generative action for now are in a special pane of flows called generative action. So you can edit, you can update this generative action. I don't know how you can deploy that. So if they can be deployed like a normal flow, because they look like a flow. We see the connection. All right, so I hope that you enjoyed this short video. Thank you.